Check 1 2. Crypto DLT with Mr. Conectr. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell for daily content. Let's go.
Another core feature of blockchain technology is the ability of individuals to have self-custody of crypto assets in a personal digital wallet. The right to have self-custody of one's private property is a foundational American value that should not disappear when one logs on to the internet. I'm in favor of affording greater flexibility to market participants to self-custody crypto assets, especially where intermediation imposes unnecessary transaction costs or restricts the ability to engage in staking and other on-chain activities.
What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Conectr, back again for another live stream. Hope you guys are doing great today. We are bullish for alt season. What's going on in the chat? We've already got Evan XRP coming in first place today. Maximum FOMO in second place on the podium. And Silver Days coming in on third place. How you doing today, guys? I am doing great. Lots of good news coming out. Lots of bullish stuff coming out of the Capitol. We've got a lot of green on the market. The Clarity Act, Eleanor Terrett says the Clarity Act just passed out of the House Ag Committee. So the next up, they have to go to through the Financial Committee for the Clarity Act. It's time for clarity, posted by the Financial Services GOP. The Clarity Act, delivering regulatory certainty, protecting American consumers, fueling U.S. innovation, reinforcing American leadership in global finance. All right, that sounds good to me. What do you guys think? Sounds good. Yes, sir. Lots of news coming out today. We'll get to that in just a second. Oh, this is a little bit more from the House this morning. This just come out from Subjective Views. Congress acknowledges that we're in a global race and they want to see the U.S. back digital assets to take off.
Bill that both Chairman Stile has been leading here and Chairman Johnson in the Ag Committee have already passed. This bill provides one thing our digital asset ecosystem clearly needs: clear rules of the road. They've asked for it. It does not create more bureaucracy. It provides definition. It clearly defines the lines and
clear rules of the road. That's all we want, guys. And we know that we're in this space before regulations come in. That's huge, guys. We are here before it's all starting. We know that clarity means everything, and that we know that's what we're waiting on, guys. What's up, Protein 40? Good to see you. Hope the stream's going okay. I'm still working out this new Rumble platform. I think I like it, but I've got a delay on what I'm watching here, so the delay is kind of weird with the chat, but we'll figure it out. Silver Days in the house. Good to see you as always.
Coordinates the work of the CFTC and the SEC so companies know what to expect. Investors know how they're protected. Regulators can perform their duties effectively. And importantly, from a national security perspective, the U.S. remains the leader in American-backed digital assets. So
That's
those
right.
countries who may be competing with us on fair ground, like Singapore and the UK, can do well. Countries that overregulate, like the European Union, can learn from their mistakes.
That's right. Overregulation. That is pure market manipulation. Let these markets thrive. Let the free market decide the rules of the road. Because we know supply and demand, that's been a farce for a while. I took economics class back in the day, and it was all about supply and demand. And the more I got older, the more I realized that it's all been rigged, guys. We haven't had true supply and demand except in the textbooks.
But most importantly, countries like Russia, China, Iran do not own this space before the U.S.-backed digital assets have the opportunity to take off. This bill acknowledges that we are in a global race. America can be in the driver's seat, or we can be offshored and a recipient of bad behavior. I don't believe any of us on either side of the aisle wants to see that. And if ag and financial services can work together, more importantly, if the House and the Senate can work together, then I'm highly confident the Democrats and Republicans can work together.
That's
in the
right.
interest of the
They all
American
need to
people.
work together. The uniparty needs to be true to their own self and come together and unify. So that's what we're waiting on, guys. Sounds good to me. America needs to lead the way, guys. We need to set the precedent for freedom coins, freedom in crypto, freedom in digital assets. Let's go to the Conectr coins. What's popping off today on the Conectr coin list? XLR, look at that thing. Good Lord, 63% today. Look at Stronghold up 27%. And this is just like a hint of regulation coming, a hint of utility, a hint of clarity coming out. This is all this is. And you get a 63% move in XLR. That's been one of our long plays for interoperability. We know that Ripple has chosen XLR for their bridging chain to bridge to other chains. The XLR, what else is coming out with XLR? I've got some news right here. We'll just skip around today. I'm all over the place, but that's how we do it on the Conectr channel. Ripple chose XLR for a reason. They're not just a bridge, a programmable, secure interoperability layer. The first step in cross-chain for XRPL. And we know that XLR is probably pumping really because of South Korea listed it on the Upbit exchange. So we know that South Korea loves crypto, and that's really cool. Those guys are going to benefit just like us. They see the American cryptos leading the way, guys. So why choose XLR? Ripple's choice for XLR, they choose them for their cross-chain implementation to the EVM chain specifically. A full-stack interoperability. XLR is not just a bridge, it's a communication layer. This empowers XRPL developers with programmable interoperability, something that simple token bridges can't provide. It's a battle-tested ecosystem. XLR is already live across major networks like Ethereum, Avalanche, Cosmos, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, Sui, and more. It's an ability to handle secure, high-volume traffic across these ecosystems. Makes it an ideal choice for scaling the XRPL's cross-chain ambitions. And the vision alignment, both Ripple and XLR share long-term visions of global value exchange. So yeah, guys, this is definitely paying off for us right now. XLR plus the XRPL equals next-gen finance. A future where CBDC issued, XRPL being issued on the DeFi app on Ethereum, an RWA token minted on the XRPL means instantly tradable on the Cosmos dexes as well. And that Osmosis AMM. I wonder if there's any AMM starting up yet with XRP on Cosmos. It won't. If there's not, it's only a matter of time. I've always loved that AMM over there. An institutional payment routed through the XRPL, triggering yield farming or lending on Aptos or Solana. So it's all about interoperability, guys. We know it's not just a one-chain future that we're going to, but we know that XRP has the potential to be that ultimate settlement layer. So it's all about settlement and liquidity. And XLR, what did he say? What did the CEO say from XLR? I even included it in my Conectr, in my Laser Eyes video, a little clip, audio clip from the CEO of XLR talking about, all these, we've got 30 to 50 trillion dollars of real world assets coming on chain soon. 30 to 50 trillion dollars worth. That's all the money. And XLR, they also say, all these chains that are wanting to issue new tokens, the best place to do it is on the XRP layer. That way it's not siloed off in any way. That's the ultimate super DEX to get it to go out to all the chains. So we're starting to see that. I even saw where I made the connection where the XRP ledger connects to private Ethereum sidechains through this new upgrade. What's up, Jeffrey? Good to see you. Yeah, Evan says Cosmos. Yeah, that's a sleeper there. I cannot believe how cheap Atom is, and a lot of those coins on Cosmos. We hadn't seen anything pop off lately except for Axelar yesterday, whenever it popped off. Let's look at those Conectr coins. And it just popped off, didn't it? Here's the 7-day on Axelar. Here's the 24-hour on Axelar. Popped off in the morning. Bullish. What else is popping off? Veritasium's up 12%. I still hold a few of those Veritasium coins because I know Reggie Middleton's got the patents. And a lot of these DeFi applications, he's trying to make it where they're going to require the Veri token as a payment to use his patent IP. So we'd yet to see that hash out, but he's working on it. He's still working on it, still going through court, patent court, fighting this stuff out. Hash provenance blockchain. That is a very cool, that's like a mortgage blockchain. So if you go to, I went to Grok the other day. You know, I've been covering hash on the real world asset side for a while. But I went to Grok the other day, just curious, trying to see how many companies, mortgage companies, are going to allow us to use our crypto as collateral for mortgage loans. And I did put in high value real estate. So I said, which companies are going to be issuing debt, a mortgage debt on the on blockchains and allowing us to use different cryptos for collateral, and for homes over 1.5 million or 1 million. I can't remember what I put in, but the main one that came up was hash provenance blockchain. So I might do a little video on that. I've been thinking about doing a little video on that. I appreciate that. Silver Days. Yeah, check out the Laser Eyes. I like this new banner deal, purple banner. You get to choose the color. I chose purple for the Rumble overlays here. So I can do that. That's pretty cool. Rumble's got it going on. If anybody doesn't know, that's like it's just like StreamYard. Everything I'm seeing, the studio I'm looking at is just like StreamYard. So that's very cool. And I'm even streaming out to Rumble, Locals, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Cool. What else is popping off today? Akash, that's on that IBC layer. XDC, Rose. Cool. Lots of green today. What is XRP doing this morning? Evan says he can't get his hands on Veritasium anywhere. I had some somewhere, can't find it. You know, I don't even remember where I got mine from. It's been on a cold wallet for a long time. And I probably got it on Binance back in the day. Or Bitrue, one of those, which I don't even use anymore. Yeah, I got a little got a little agitated last stream. I think I was watching Sean on the boardroom talk about how mad he was as well about how our regulators made us get out of Binance. So what are we supposed to do? You know, choose which coins you want to hold for a while and not be able to sell. So that was, I think, Veri and Holochain. But the other ones I had to get rid of because I didn't know where I was going to sell them. So I had to get rid of all my Binance coin because I didn't know where we're going to be solid off if I was going to be able to have a market to sell them in. And I missed all kinds of gains because the government restricted us. So that's pretty crazy, guys. I hate being restricted in any way. Let these markets be free and open. That's what I say. Look at Bitcoin, almost $9,000. Wow. Let it pump. We'll ride the boat along with it, won't we, guys? Cool. All right. What else is deep today? Deep reds. Let's look at the 30-day gainers right quick. 115% up on your Zebek. That's pulled back a little bit today. Natural. Energy Web's up 46%. and Stronghold. Look at that, 25% today. 32 on the 30-day. If you're looking to get a deep red past 30 days, I'm still in the Afrium reserve rights. Who was it, Evan, talking about Paul Atkins has interest in reserve rights? And look at that layer 0 there. That might be a good play, guys. That is another interoperability layer. I compare it to Axelar. And we know that Wyoming is using layer 0 at inception for its state-backed stablecoin. Wyoming's issuing their coin on 5 different chains at inception. So that's using layer 0 to do that. And we know that Flare is using layer 0 for their F assets. So I thought that was very cool. And it's down 25%. Let's look at that chart. I don't even think I have any of this layer 0. But we like to keep an eye on it, that's for sure. Let's look at the 30-day on layer 0. Yeah, it's pulled back a little bit. Oh, cool. Appreciate that, Protein 40. Thank you, sir. Yeah, y'all share the channel, get it out the best you can. I appreciate every help I can get trying to grow the channel. Cool. Layer 0 can be bought on where? I'm just looking for Coinbase, I think. Yeah. Kraken in the States. Let's see if they have any news coming out. Where's their links at? There you go. Check out their X right quick. And why am I not following layer 0? Got to be careful when you think you're not following somebody. This might be a lookalike page, but I got it directly from CoinWatch. Huh. That's a little weird. I can't believe I'm not following them. This is weird. I can't even. All right. It's not even opening up their page. Oh, well. Cool. Let's get to the American crypto, guys. Maxima says the loan is in the banana zone. It sure is. Doing great on that loan protocol, guys. And I actually voted while we're on it. Yeah, we'll skip around. I actually voted on a loan governance vote yesterday. Can't believe it took me this long to do it. But where is it at? Sorry for the quick scrolling here. But I wanted to bring you Ryan's tweet. What's up, Ryan? If you're watching, just started following him at Ryan, the Digital Banking Network. If you hold Loan Protocol token, please send us your voice and vote so that we may expand the Loan Protocol lending and borrowing rewards to Ripple XRP and Litecoin communities. So I voted on adding this to the Loan Protocol yesterday. I can't believe it took me a while to vote on it. I forgot all about this, but it started back in February, and we've only got till June the 30th to reach quorum on that. And we are almost there, 23.45% out of the 25%. He posted this yesterday with 71.9 billion loans voting. So the loan power is 71.09 billion. So let's check the new updated from 71.09 to now we're at 73.96 loan. So you've got basically 2.6 billion loan that have voted since yesterday. Cool. That's a lot of loan. So it's 24.3 23 out of 25. So this is to add XRP to the loan markets. And that would allow you to lend and borrow XRP and get loan rewards. Yeah, we can read through this right quick. This is, I think this is pretty big, pretty telling to see which chains are inviting other chains, basically. I just saw where I think Cardano was trying to get XRP on their network, but I'm not real sure about that. But expand loan rewards to X Litecoin and XRP markets. The description is expanding loan rewards. Currently, loan rewards are issued to Bitcoin, Ethereum, XPR network, Metal DAO, USDC, and Dogecoin. However, Ripple XRP and X Litecoin do not currently receive loan incentives. This proposal seeks to expand loan rewards to these markets and enhance liquidity and increase user engagement on Metal X Lending. That's the website, Metal X Lending. And Litecoin and XRP are widely used, recognized assets with strong communities and liquidity potential. Adding loan incentives to these markets will encourage deposits and borrowing in these asset pools, which the more liquidity we get in there on the loan protocol. Guys, I love both of these networks, XRP and XPR. Some reason I just kind of been concentrating on those two here lately, and XLM are my big top three. And seeing that the return rates are kind of low, we don't have much XRP locked up on loan, but if you get this going on, you'll get more percentage back for sure. And loan's taking off. The price of loan is going insane lately. And it's just steady climbing up. There's been no pullbacks. There's been no huge runs, but it's been steady, just climbing up every hour for the past, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Aligned with Metal X Lending goal of supporting multi-chain DeFi lending. Wow. Multi-chain DeFi. There we go. Create additional yield opportunities for the users of XRP. Hey guys, how's my video looking? Are there any pauses? If anybody can comment on that, appreciate that. If I'm glitching at all, if there's pauses, because I'm seeing a delay on my side, but it's all good. By incentivizing these markets, we aim to balance lending activity across more assets, ensuring that MetalX remains a leader in multi-chain lending. So here we're going over the rewards. Hold on one second. Why is that? All right. To align with, let's see, here's the rewards. XRP supplier. I'm not sure what that means. So basically, if you guys could help us out and vote to add XRP to the loan project. Jeffrey says he has no bandwidth for new projects. Yeah, DBC. Yeah, I've been in Metallicus for probably 2 or 3 years now. The XPR network. So I'm just kind of deep into that. So just bear with me if you're having new token overload. Bear with us. I'm still talking about XRP interoperability. That's for sure, though. Expanding loan incentives to XRP and Litecoin would enhance liquidity, drive user engagement, and reinforce Metal X Lending as a premier multi-chain lending platform. So you can cast your vote, and you can see the top voters on there. Cool. I just thought I'd show you that right quick. Let's get back to the American cryptos. The past 24 hours, there we go. Axelar up 63% on that Korean Upbit listing news, and Ripple choosing them as their interoperability platform. Okay, cool. Let me turn that down. Check, check, check. That music's coming in too soon. Check, check. Okay, let's try that for a while. Compound's up 28%. Forgot about Compound and Uniswap. Look at Uniswap there, 25% almost. Compound's ranked 112. I don't like how that music comes in that quick. Check, check. Cool, cool. Check, check. All right, guys, always messing with something. Voice meter. All right, release attack. Always messing with my filters to bring the best show I can. Always tweaking something. What's up, Marvin Davis? Good to see you, buddy. All right, sounds great, he says. Cool. All right, good deal. And $60 for your compound price. That's an American crypto. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the sectors in crypto. We've got to take a quick look at the different sectors. Which sectors are popping off the most? The bonk ecosystem's up 60%. SEI is up 20%. Lending and borrowing with compound, we just talked about, is up 17%. Let's go right back to that SEI ecosystem. If you'll notice, what's pushing that ecosystem up is Axelar. Interesting. What about this one, Phantom? Axelar is also pushing up the Phantom ecosystem. So I guess it's looking at the different bridges or the bridge involved with these systems, and Axelar is helping push them up. Lena, all these ecosystems are up. I'd just like to take a quick look at those to see which ones are popping off today. Cool, cool. Evan says, when you go on Uncle Buster's Live, your voice punches through good and sounds super smooth. Okay, good. You know, what I'm doing is, cool. I'm just, I've got a condenser mic. If anybody's out there wants to have a good mic setup, I'm just doing a condenser microphone, you know, which requires 48 volts phantom power, and going into a tube preamp, an old tube preamp, which has some problems sometimes. It's old analog equipment. And then I'm going into a tube compressor. So that does a lot of heavy lifting, the tube preamp and compressor, before it goes into your audio interface. So it kind of smooths it out. Appreciate that there. What's up, Joseph? Good to see you, as always. All right, cool. Let's keep it moving, guys. What else do we have? The crypto events calendar. Right quick, we'll burn through this. Today's Tuesday, June 10th. Let's see if there's any chains we're into. Cross-chain HSK, the native token of HSK chain, is now a cross-chain token powered by Chainlink. Chainlink is getting involved in all these different interoperabilities between chains. That's good, though. I love to see it. Here's an airdrop for, I don't know, let's see what this is. Shuffle.com. If anybody's into that. We've got a BitTrue Cody AMA, Korean AMA with Carve. You know, that'd be a good thing to do if anybody has any friends in like Korea. I know Cobb's he's friends with a few people over there. Alex Cobb, he likes South Korea, but they're involved with this stuff big time. It'd be good to see what they're into, if we can get ahead of that at all, and what different systems some of these South Koreans are into. They love this stuff, guys. Anything else we're involved in? Updates from Osmosis for Polaris. Polaris is a new app coming out that's every chain, every coin supposed to be. Stellar on Bridgers. Stellar now supports Bridgers for secure cross-chain transfers via smart contracts. So Stellar is doing cross-chain. I know on that Lobster app that you can deposit native chains to the Lobster app. All these different native chains. And here's another way with Bridgers using Stellar. Sure, SM57. That's a good mic. Yeah. That's a really good mic. I've got one right here. Yeah. It's like the more like pointy mic. Yeah, I've actually got one right here. That's my backup mic, SM57. Cool. Route XLM across chains with secure non-custodial execution, powered by smart contracts and aggregated liquidity. You authorize, we route. dap.bridgers.xyz. We can check it out. Bridgers. This product services are currently unavailable for your country area. Oh, wow. Imagine that. No telling what that is. All right, cool. Let's take a look. Well, let's see if there's any more calendar events coming out for any projects we know before we move on. Cool. Let's keep moving. Let's look at the Bitcoin dominance. We've got the altcoin season starting, it looks like. Guys, look at that Bitcoin dominance falling. I would love to see altcoin. We're down to 61%. We can look at the 3-month and the year on that altcoin, or the Bitcoin dominance. We'll ride its coattails, won't we, guys? Okay, let's take a look at the total crypto market cap for all the coins. We're at 3.39 trillion. Go, baby, go. Let's look at that all-time chart for crypto market cap. All time. 2015 it starts. 2014. We're off to the races, guys, what it looks like. Not financial advice on the channel, just looking at this stuff just like you guys. But that looks like it's ready to rock and roll to me. Of course, I've been bullish for years. Let's go. That sounds good. I've got the US dollar index right here. The Dixie chart. We can take a quick look at that. Let's look at the 6-month chart. So the dollar is going down the past 6 months. Imagine that. What you should do is take this and flip it up. No, I'm thinking about the gold chart. Yeah, I'm thinking about the gold chart. To me, that's the gold chart is the exact opposite of the dollar, what it should be, because this Dixie chart doesn't value the price of the dollar compared to gold, which is insane. All it does is value the price of the dollar against all these other manipulated currencies, from fiat currencies from other governments. So we don't really know what this chart means, but I just thought I'd take a look at it. Here's the all-time, and you know it's BS when you look at the all-time chart for the Dixie chart, the value of the dollar again. Look, they're starting it back in 1967, all the way to the left. And that's supposed to be the value of the dollar. Do you guys believe that at all? When it should, the way I look at the value of the dollar, you take the gold chart and you inverse it. That's the value, the real value of the dollar. So you see how gold's going up now. Let's take a quick look at gold on the commodities. Let's see here. We've got commodities pulled up. Corn's up a little bit today. Aluminum's up barely. Gold's at $3,322. Silver's at $36. Look at their silver days. I'm in a days from that price. 36. Let's go. $36.50. So here's the gold chart. Let's reduce the size of that. And if we look on the max, you see how gold's going up there. Wow. All right. Turn that upside down. That's the value of the dollar. That's the dollar sinking. Is what it should be. Let's look at that silver chart. Oh, that's bright white. Sorry about that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There we go. There we go. That's a 1 year chart on silver. Let's look at the max. Okay, so we're not even at an all-time high on silver yet, are we? That's right. Back in 2000 and looks like 2011, silver hit $47. You know, just for a brief moment in time, but we're just getting started on silver too, it looks like. Cool. Joseph's been thinking the same thing. Looks like we're about to get that reversal we've been waiting on. Yeah. Bitcoin D is dropping slowly. Dominance, yeah. Bitcoin is following the M2 global money supply. Yep, that usually makes sense. Yeah, SHX made a move, Marvin. You like that? Yes, sir. Let's look at that SHX chart. I like that too. Bam. Look at there. What's the price of it now? 1.2 pennies. I had a good run, about 8 months ago on SHX. So we still got to get back up to that though. 2 pennies. Back in January. So yeah, we'll get that out. We'll knock that out in no time, I bet. Yeah, it's been a long hold for me, guys. SHX. That's one of the first coins I got into back in the day. One of the first altcoins, because I realized they're using Stellar and Ripple. I was like, what's going on with that? Using Stellar and Ripple. Look at all time on that. Well, there's the top back then. Wow. 2021. It hit 6 cents. Wow. Sounds good to me. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Joseph says we have the other charts going up and Bitcoin's getting ready to make its last leg up. Things are looking good in our favor. Evan says money trend is up phase. Don't think anyone can stop what's coming. Knock on wood. Got you. Got Stronghold back in 2023. That was a good time to get in. Yeah. Says Joseph. Evan holds SHX on the Stellar term wallet. Yeah, that's a good place. Yeah, I'm in the there's Stellar X. I'm in the AMM for Stronghold against Lumens. Yeah. Oh wow, look at that. I'm getting 32% now on the fees. Of course, I'm not sure though. When I got in, I think it was like 23% on this pool. Stronghold XLM. So I don't know if it's stuck to the 23 or is it floating. So I don't know exactly how that works, guys. But I do know you get the rewards whenever you cash out. So I've never withdrawn liquidity from these pools. but I've been in that for a while. SHX and XLM. Also, VELO and XLM. That one's at 9.9% now. And what else is popping? I'm also in this one, I think. SHX against VELO. So you don't even need the native asset in some of these pools. SHX said they had a big announcement, says Evan. They said it weeks, not months. Yeah, I think maybe that 60% of the supply I've heard is going to go in escrow. So imagine what that does to the price. You've seen what it did to XRP when they announced the escrow back in 2018. It sure popped off then. And I'm also in these aqua pool and getting the ice rewards. There's so much going on. We get in where we fit in. Let's go take a quick look. I know we're a crypto channel, but what was this? The dollar index? Yeah. Let's take a quick look at stocks. I have the trading view pulled up for stocks. It's just good to keep an eye on this. Guys, all of these companies are going to come to us. Is what it looks like. We know that in August, they're all going to run on Solotex, which is the blockchain stock exchange that Corium's running, will be running with, what's the capital? The broker, the big broker dealer. I can't remember right now, but it's Solotex. Let's see if I've got that bookmark for Corium. Lots of good things going on in Corium. And I've been getting 43% return by staking Corium. That's insane. I've been getting that for a year and a half, 2 years now, I think. Of course, it's been selling off. A lot of people have been selling it as soon as they get it. But I've been holding it and recompounding. I've been doing the restake. If you have like I think this Kepler wallet, you can do restake is a website. And it automatically recompounds for you every day, or however you set it. I've got some Corium stuff back here in the pack. Let's see if I can find it. I just saved these random bookmarks. Look at Alex Cobb posting. This is funny. Back in 17 cents. The wife saying it's his XRP. Now at $2.17, it's our XRP. There you go. Yeah. She's got it figured out, doesn't she? Corium, here we go. Wellington Farina says that the revolution of tokenization with the Corium blockchain, the tokenization of real-world assets is transforming the financial market, and the Corium blockchain emerges as a key infrastructure to lead the change. Corium's a third-generation Layer 1 blockchain designed for high scalability, security, and interoperability with a capacity of up to 7,000 transactions per second and compliance with standards like ISO. It's ideal for financial institutions and companies looking to tokenize assets. We know it's all about tokenizing real-world assets. Smart tokens, Corium's Edge. Corium's smart tokens are programmable tokens that follow embedded business logic and compliance from issuance. This means flexibility, fungible non-fungible tokens, or hybrid tokens with unique properties. Features like whitelisting, freezing, burning, and transfers via IBC, inter-blockchain communication. And automation, smart contracts based on COSM, WASM, and Rust to manage the asset's lifecycle. With interoperability to the XRP ledger and the IBC, integration with 100 blockchains via that bridge. With cross-chain transfers, Corium's a sleeper, guys, if you ask me. Compliance with built-in compliance, native tools for real-time risk assessment and fraud prevention. It's a bonded proof of stake model. It's more efficient than proof of work. Companies like BitGo enhance trust for major players. Corium's the native token. It's essential for paying the transaction fees for this, especially for the solo text that's coming up. Participating in networks, governments, and staking in security and validation. This creates a sustainable ecosystem that encourages participation and growth. Cool. Wellington Faria. That's a good post, my friend. And Corium's got something powerful on the horizon. The Solo Tex. There's their logo. Marketplace for tokenized RWAs by Texture Capital. That's it. Texture Capital is a FINRA SEC registered broker dealer. They're bringing all the stocks on chain, guys. All of them at inception in August, starting this August on Solotex. And the fees are Corium. You got to pay the fees using Corium. You still have Corium and Sologenic from a few years ago? Yep, Joseph. Me too, yep. I got in on that Solo airdrop. Those airdrops, man, those things are wild. That thing shot up. You know, everybody gets an airdrop based on your holdings. So, of course, everybody's going to buy up to the airdrop date. So, I think that's why they stopped putting the dates on airdrop and just started putting like time frames instead of a specific time and date, you know. Yeah, some of these airdrops are manipulated like crazy. Oh, you like that XRP with the wife, Joseph? Yeah, ISO goes live on the 14th of July, Joseph. That's right. June 23rd is another date for that. I think it's the 23rd. It might be the end of June. But that's the final. They did throw that caveat in there. That's the final decision if they're going to go live on the 14th. That date is not set in stone yet from what I've seen, guys. I don't think anybody's talking about that. But, of course, they like to push back. Just be prepared. I'm not trying to bring any bad news or anything, but there is another date coming up at the end of this month where they actually decide if it's go or not go, basically, on the 14th of July. So that's, you know, just in case something happens, they might push it back again. And I wouldn't doubt that at all. Like XRP Bag says, she wants my bags now, yeah. They won't, never forget, they want us out. We're here before the big guys come in. We knew what was up with this. First asset in history that we could get in before the big guys. Got to start staking and baking instead of just holding. Yeah, some of those chains is definitely worth staking. What's up, Michael? Where can I stake Corium safe? I use the Kepler wallet. That's my main wallet for like all the IBC coins, the interoperability stuff. I've got it on an old laptop that I don't even use, but just for that, you know. So it is a hot wallet, basically. Kepler wallet, you know, it's an extension wallet. So always say on the channels, be careful with those extension wallets. But what's going on is I check that wallet every week or so. And, you know, these coins on IBC, they take 21 days to unstake, which I think is good for me personally, because those hot wallets, you know, someone just can't get in there and take your coins at the moment. You know, if something happens, they got to wait 21 days and hopefully I catch it. You know, that's just me being paranoid. Nothing's ever happened to Kepler or anything. But yeah, I really like Kepler. And I go to this Restake website. Let's see. I don't know what it is. Restake app, maybe? Auto compound. So once you get your Corium, you can, yeah, this is it. Restake.app. And there's Corium. You switch the network to Corium, change your network. See how you can go to like that, to XLR right there. And then go to Corium. And look, right now it's gone down just a little bit. 41.2% APR. Wow. And it recompounds however long. I think daily maybe. That's pretty cool, that recompounding. That means everything, guys. That's tricks from billionaires from a while back. Recompounding is everything. Compounding your interest, putting it back into the principal. Yeah. You think they're voting on the big, beautiful bill today? Okay. We shall see. The big, beautiful spending bill. Spend that money, that funny money, that fake money, those Federal Reserve notes, IOUs to bankster families. Cool, cool. What else do we have? Let's get to Crypto Panic and see what news is coming out as we stream. Hope you guys are doing great today. Give me a like if you could, guys. That helps promote the channel. Share the video. And subscribe if you're new. Good to have you, as always. Evan says, I have to admit that I contributed to White Rock to receive WhiteNet tokens. Anyone else taking crazy chances? It's all about taking chances here. That's how I got here. You know, that is fun, speculation. And I have taken chances and came out on top several times taking chances like that. I'm not sure about White Rock. I know that there's rumors and they had that fake document that come out, but they're suing a content creator for calling out their fake document. Something about that. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's not fake. You don't know for sure, but it looked fake to me. But about the what was it? The Saudi Arabia using White Rock to tokenize or whatever. Yeah, small amount. You never know. You never know, really. It's fun to speculate. Take chances with a little bit, yeah. All right, Trump considers replacing Fed Chair Powell with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And I've actually got a bookmark on that. Scott Bessent has emerged as a contender to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve. There's a new version of this post. Where is the new version? I don't know. The Fed chair circus proves DC's revolving door never stops. What's up with these automated messages? Doge AI with an automated message? The revolving door never stops spinning. Besset's hedge fund ties highlight the same Wall Street to Washington pipeline that rigs monetary policy against Main Street. While bureaucrats play musical chairs with banking elites, the real issue remains the Fed's balance sheet ballooned to $9 trillion under Powell's watch, fueling inflation that crushed working Americans. Yeah, they're killing the dollar. Let's go ahead and go to sound money. That'll work. Finally, what's going to take us to sound money? How about Judy Shelton? That's my vote for Federal Reserve Chair. Principled, brilliant, and a lifelong advocate for sound money. She's exactly what America needs to restore integrity to its monetary system. Yeah, you got to be careful what you say on the internet. Yeah. Yeah, I try to say things like, there's rumors of, and there's non-confirmed, and I don't know, but it's just rumors about that White Rock. Yeah, who knows, guys? Who knows? It's just for entertainment purposes only. Friday was Shelton's birthday. Shelty. What up, Judy Shelty? Friday was Judy Shelton's birthday. Guess she shouldn't read into it too much, but President Donald Trump said on Friday that a decision on the next Federal Reserve chair is coming out soon, adding that a good Fed chair would lower interest rates. So let's make some noise for the gold standard, Judy Shelton. She wants to tokenize gold-backed T-bills, guys. So we've got regular treasury bills, but she wants to create a gold treasury bill. So what happens when you tokenize that and you mint stable coins off of gold-backed treasury tokens? That's the collateral for your stable coin. Guys, that's a gold-backed dollar. In a roundabout way, that's a gold-backed digital dollar. So maybe Judy Shelton is Trump's long play. Who knows? But I like everything she's had to say throughout the years. Research suggests President Trump's top 5 most likely Federal Reserve Chairman nominees are Kevin Warsh, Christopher Walken? No. Kevin Hassett, Scott Bessent, and Judy Shelton. It seems like these candidates are based on recent media reports and discussions, but the final decision is still pending. Judy. That'd be nice. All right. Yeah, we saw the Clarity Act just passed out of the House Ag Committee this morning. On to the Financial Committee now. Cool. Evan said, Judy says we need to go back to the future in a go back to the future in a cryptocurrency way. Yeah, that'll fix everything. A reset in a cryptocurrency way. That's right. I remember her saying that. Joseph, I heard that JP Morgan and BlackRock was going to start accepting Bitcoin for collateral on home loans and soon accept different cryptos for collateral. Yeah, I heard that too. I'd be scared to deal with them. They're liable to recall it at any time. And they've been trying to get land left and right, guys. BlackRock. All right, what else do we have on Crypto Panic? Hope you guys are doing great today. Let's keep it rolling. Wall Street's ETF machine roars to life after Circle's IPO sends shares soaring. ETFs are coming, guys. Altcoin season is almost here. That's what it feels like to me. Guggenheim Treasury Services launches DCP on XRP Ledger, backed by U.S. Treasuries. Let's check this one out. If it'll open. Well, it won't open.
Hey, man.
Hey, can you give me a detailed summary of this page, please?
Sure thing. So the page talks about Guggenheim Treasury Services issuing digital commercial paper on the XRP ledger. This new move is backed by U.S. Treasuries, aiming to cut costs and enable uninterrupted trading. Guggenheim's DCP was on Ethereum, but now they're leveraging the XRP ledger's lower fees and continuous operation. Ripple pitched in with a $10 million investment for liquidity. The whole idea is to attract institutional investors with a more efficient, tokenized debt offering. Pretty interesting development.
Wow, they left Ethereum and gone to the ledger. I didn't realize that. Another one bites the dust for Ethereum. Moving it their commercial paper to the XRP ledger. Nice. Guggenheim Treasury Services. Corporate paper on the XRP ledger. Wow, with help with Ripple, an investment from Ripple. There you go. Sorry, Ethereum. They're moving on to efficiency. Tesla stock at the risk of 60% drop amid weakening sales. That's Tesla's become political, so it's kind of a wild play there. Let's see what else we've got. Financial giant launches tokenized debt. That's probably the same Guggenheim. Cool. What else do we have? The NASDAQ, including XRP, Stellar, XLM, Solana, and Cardano in the firm's index. So you got to have pricing, guys. And NASDAQ has updated its crypto index to include all of these to measure the performance of a material portion of the overall digital asset market. A material portion. So that's NASDAQ saying that all coins matter, right? Which AI to use. I'm on the Edge browser. So I just use the Copilot that's built in. And it can actually look at the articles I click on and analyze. WorldCoin price jumps as Sam Altman's OpenAI taps Google for AI expansion. Cardano launches Cardinal protocol to bridge Bitcoin DeFi. Yeah, I've been hearing more about Bitcoin DeFi here lately. SEC considers innovation exemption for DeFi projects. That sounds good. Innovation exemption. Check that out. From the Defiant. Can I get a detailed explanation of this page, please?
Sure. This page is from the Defiant and discusses a potential innovation exemption for decentralized finance, DeFi projects, being considered by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. The SEC recently held a roundtable titled DeFi and the American Spirit. At this event, the new SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, expressed support for DeFi and spoke of the need to keep control of one's own assets, emphasizing self-custody. He mentioned a possible innovation exemption to allow DeFi projects to launch, even as the SEC develops more comprehensive regulations. The industry response has been positive, seeing this as a sign that DeFi is gaining acceptance and clarity in regulation.
Sounds good to me. I think they're slowly figuring out that they really can't control what they want to control, and that freedom should be the main factor. Freedom in markets, guys. We're getting there slowly but surely. That's so good to hear the SEC chairman saying that we have a right to self-custody. Sure we do. We've known that. It's about time they say it, though. But what was I trying to lead to? But we still got a problem, and the SEC chairman isn't fixing these counterfeiting stocks. This from Stephanie 22. Wall Street is a crime scene. The counterfeiting of the stock market and all assets have been going on for decades. So much evidence, so many companies, shareholders, pensions, and industries destroyed, all to hide the largest Ponzi scheme on the planet. Wow. A lot of people woke up to the corruption in 2021 with GameStop. 4 years later, still no enforcement or change, guys. How does this end? We know we're all not leaving. It's insane what's been going on in these markets. Counterfeiting the stock market, guys, and they're getting away with it. They've been doing it. Who knows how long? They warned, oh, that's loud. They warned the SEC, that one guy warned them for a decade about Enron before it happened. And they knew all about it and let it happen, guys.
And you actually filed your own lawsuit in November of 2000.
And it's the companies that are figuring all this out because, you know, when you're a company, you know how many shares you have issued. Like Overstock, they're one of the big ones that found this out. There was way more shares trading out there in public markets than they ever issued. The company would know. And they were targeted because they said something. Wow. What a wicked game we play, or they play.
And you actually filed your own lawsuit in November of 2009 against the SEC for aiding and abetting counterfeiting the stock market, as you said. Can you tell us about that suit? Where did you come up with the proof for that?
Well, we've done a lot of research. The shareholders as a group have done research themselves into CMKX, which led us to research the whole stock market. And we came across Operation Uptick, which was a sting operation that was conducted in 1999-2000. It identified about 200 companies that have been victims of counterfeiting in the stock market. It also identified Wall Street firms that were working with crime.
Victims of counterfeiting shares. Wow, these companies are victims. 200 firms on this operation.
Families to launder the money offshore. The only problem with that operation is that they didn't go after any Wall Street perpetrators.
Now, you think this is going to happen on Solotex? I don't think so. Accountability is coming, guys. That's what they hate. Truth and transparency. They want to rig everything. That's how these people get ahead in life. Everything's been rigged. And they've been using our taxpayer dollars to do it, to rig the system against us.
There was crime family members convicted of the crimes for aiding them, but the Wall Street firms all got off. And then you go into the CMKX sting.
That was back in 2000, he said.
Which is years later, and there's been no perpetrators going to jail for that sting either. And now, going forward to right now, they've counterfeited the bond market into the trillions, and now just recently came out that gold and silver's been counterfeited into the trillions as well, all by the same.
Gold and silver has been counterfeited into the trillions. Wow. Yeah, but there's no company to keep track of their own, of all the gold shares. It's a commodity. So, yeah, that's why it was so easy to manipulate precious metals. There's no company keeping track of those shares or the units. They got it all rigged against us, don't they, guys? I hate to keep LARPing on the problems, but we know the solutions. You know, when you talk about your problems, it's not a good thing. You know, I see more and more about that. You know, you want to talk about solutions and positivity instead of negativity. But we've got to get over that precipice. We have to fix things somehow.
And perpetrators, none of them going to jail.
What's up, X Lloyd in the house? Good to see you, buddy.
And those perpetrators would be whom? The SEC and the government?
The SEC is listed as aiding and abetting the counterfeiting.
Wow.
So the SEC is aided and abetted the counterfeiting by also making rules that make it easy to counterfeit, but also by concealing the crime.
Wow. Crazy. What tyranny we've been living under. We don't even know it, really. Insane. Apex is coming up. CoinDesk is advertising it. Bitcoin Desk advertising XRP Apex 2025. Tune in on Wednesday, this Wednesday, from 9:30 to noon SGT, as we speak with the XRPL community and visionaries reshaping the future of finance. Apex 2025 is here starting Wednesday, guys. So we should take a look at that probably. There'll be some good clips coming out of that. Doing good, X Lloyd. Just going through the news for today. Back streaming again. We've got some FUD coming out. Imagine that, from Gary Cardone. Check out this guy. XRP will take any path they need to survive, including coordinating with the most oppressive people on planet Earth. One of them pictured below, Miss Cringe, he calls her, who would do whatever is needed to turn Europe into a prison continent. So there is martial law everywhere, and they can scam you into a police state. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Europe is very totalitarian with their CBDC that they want. But the XRP ledger is neutral. You can do evil things on it. You can do good things on it. So for him to say this about the ledger is just kind of naive, if you ask me. So maybe he doesn't need to invest in it. That'd be fine with me if he wants to talk this kind of junk on it. And there's a lot of people with this same mindset, guys. Guys, it's a neutral, agnostic ledger. He says XRP equals COVID-19 part 2 in finance. If you continue to hold XRP, you're voting on and for European warmongers. I don't think he gets it. Do you guys? Evan says gold and silver paper market is the most corrupt and manipulator of all. Yeah, it is. It's the short sale of the short sales. Judy wants to audit the gold supply, and it's over for paper market. Bring it on, Judy. That's what I'm talking about, Evan. That's what we need. I'm going to do a little dance if Judy Shelton gets up in there. Watch out. Yeah, but for them to say, to equate XRP to COVID-19 part 2 for finance. Yeah, maybe he just needs to stay out of it. I don't think he should buy XRP. Do you guys? Okay, we got Crypto Eddie saying, how in the world did you get to a position of this many followers and have no clue what you're talking about? Eddie says, XRP is not a company. It's a native asset to a decentralized ledger. I usually ignore people like you, but come on, man, level up. So true, Eddie. So true. Gary Cardone's reposting this. Swiss hodler. Oh, wow. You just can't make this up. European surveillance coin is set to run on the XRP. Opt out with Bitcoin while you still can. Yeah, guys, don't invest in native rails that these countries are going to use. This agnostic technology that doesn't care if you're good or bad. Don't invest in that just because there's some bad actors that might use it. Joseph says, I knew once the government found out how much comes through this crypto space, they'll be coming. Because they're greedy, yeah. Hopefully so-called regulations don't be something that's not in our favor. We'll see. But they can't change the model for these blockchains. The financial system that these blockchains are, they can't change that. This is a neutral bridge asset. European Central Bank to launch a digital euro on the XRP ledger. I don't think a lot of people still understand this stuff, how neutral it is. Wow. Yep. I guess Gary needs to stay out of it. That'll work. Paul Agarwal from Coinbase. There's new docs from the SEC now live in their Freedom of Information request reading room. Now we know that Gensler had an impromptu meeting about Ethereum electronic traded products, mere weeks before they were approved. But what was said, and why did the SEC continue to investigate Ethereum as a security even after dropping or approving the ETFs, the ETH ETFs? Yeah, I remember that they were still back and forth on it even after approving the ETFs. But we know what's behind all that. It's ETHgate. They're trying to get out of trouble. Trying to keep Ethereum's nose clean. People that are in this stuff, invested in it. A lot of bad actors use Bitcoin in the beginning. Shh, Gary. Yeah, that's right, Marvin. A Crypto Saw was reposting Joseph Lubin's, back in the day at the original sale of Ethereum. A person can buy from any number of different identities. We may limit the size to make it easier to disguise. If you are a whale, you can buy 500 units of Ethereum so nobody scares people with an enormous initial purchase. You can do that through multiple identities. We won't require a real-world identity. We can create synonymous email and identity and make sure everything works smoothly. So all you had to do was give them a different email address to buy more Ethereum at the initial pre-sale of Ethereum. That is so crooked. And that got a free pass. Some of these comments are gold. This one, interesting timing that approval of ETH ETF while still investigating ETH as a security raises questions about regulatory consistency. Need more transparency from the SEC on their decision-making process. We sure do. There's Eleanor posting about the Clarity Act just passing out of the House GOP Ag Committee. If you ask me, they need to just do all that big, beautiful bill and all the crypto stuff all together. It's all being worked on at the same time. But, I still like the idea of single issue bills. That really needs to get going. If Powell leaves at the end of the year, do you think QE will start in 2026? Quantitative easing? What is that? Printing more money? More funding money? Who knows? I think we need to go to a whole new system. These banks getting free money, quantitative easing, is insane. All these free loans. Guys, when you go get a mortgage, they don't have that money. They just lend you free fake money. And you pay them back in real money. It's crazy what's going on. They'll take your house if you don't pay them back all of it. All this fake money that they issued. Money out of thin air. So hopefully we're over that precipice, like I was saying earlier, about trying not to stay on these negative thoughts and problems. If you talk about your problems, they just exacerbate them. What's the word? Continue to grow. But hopefully we're at that precipice where we can talk about the fixes. How to fix things. What else do we have? This one's from ChainSpect. Stellar.org just got faster, guys. We've officially updated Stellar's max TPS to 2,032 transactions per second, nearly doubling the previous 1,137 transactions per second. That Corium, that's at 7,000 now. But it's good to see Stellar always improving. It's a major leap that shows the network is continuing to evolve, meeting adoption. It's just the beginning. But there, guys, if you've ever looked into the Stellar payment channels, that's crazy. Visa could have their own Stellar payment channel and run everything on that. with insane speeds and just settle up every once in a while on the main chain. Good. I'm a big Stellar fan. We went over this earlier. XLR has been pumping. We covered that first thing on the stream. What's been going on with that? This one's XLR as well. Inter Blockchain Services says that most think cross-chain just means moving tokens, but XLR goes far beyond that with general messaging passing, GMP, general message passing. Between the chains, you can trigger contracts across different chains. Wow, that's new to me. Triggering smart contracts across different chains with XLR. You rely on global validators. You avoid trusted intermediaries. And you build true omni-chain user interfaces. Let's connect chains and people together. Cross-chain function call process. Okay, on this cone here, you've got gateway contract call. The message calls XLR's gateway contract. Then the validator consensus XLR's network validates the message. Message generation, a message is generated for the destination chain. Destination gateway post, the message posted to the destination gateway. Contract execution, the target smart contract law executed. That's pretty wild, sending cross-chain function calls for smart contracts from one chain to the other. That's wild. We know that Circle is doing something like this as well with their smart contracts. They're using multiple chains. They're composing using multiple chains. Sky Gecko says XLR stands out from competitors like Chainlink CCIP by letting anyone join as a validator, which makes it more trustworthy. I like that. Plus, it's already connected to 75 blockchains, showing it's really catching on. XLR is just more than just a bridge from Mika. This is a real infrastructure for the future of the internet, making it a single liquidity and single ecosystem. This is from the map of zones with XLR in the middle, connecting to all the IBC chains. I think there's like 200 of them. Crazy. Evan says fake fiat money and friction by banks is how we all got into XRP. Yeah, we saw it. We saw the inefficiency in the SWIFT system, and that system gets hacked all the time. It's very inefficient messaging, and it gets hacked. There's all kinds of problems, and you don't know what it's going to cost to send money from one country to the other. You don't know how much they're going to get on the back end on the other side. NASDAQ just brought XLM into crypto index. ETF exposure on the table. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we went over that. They brought a few. What was it? Cardano, XLM, XRP, Solana, maybe a couple more. Cool. What else do we have today? Before we get out of here, we're going to go through a couple more. Ripple X posted Apex 2025, the digital commercial paper. We covered this earlier, but this is the actual Ripple post. It's now live on the XRP ledger administered by Guggenheim Treasury Services, one of the largest independent commercial paper platform managers in the world, powered by Zeconomy. With 280 million plus in issuance, digital commercial paper is the first native digital commercial paper on the XRPL, bridging a fixed income asset secured by treasuries and rated Prime 1 by Moody's. Wow, more good news all the time. Joseph says XRP, XLM, XLR, Zebek, Stronghold and XX Network. Yeah. That's some good picks there. For sure. You guys remember last week we covered the XX Network. David Shawn, he's quantum proof Bitcoin already. He's got a new wallet that you can create a new Bitcoin wallet or a new account for Bitcoin, but instead of getting private keys, one set of private keys, in addition to your private keys, you also get quantum keys for Bitcoin. So these are new wallets. You would have to actually transfer your Bitcoin to these wallets to quantum proof them. But that's interesting. Very cool. Subjective views. Swift's head of go-to-market, Kalyani Bhatta. Swift considers digital asset platforms a natural extension of the Swift network. Proven connectivity to distributed ledger blockchain sandbox pilots are completed, and they are ready for live transactions. Nice.
Today. So I think that it's visible that the industry of payments has been very focused on improving cross-border payments for quite some time. And by that, we mean making payments faster, cheaper, and safer. And I think for many different reasons, this has been a focus for the past few years. And there are a couple of initiatives ongoing, not to say many initiatives happening at the same time towards the same goals, right? So we can name the ISO 222, the pre-validation services that are being developed. We can talk about the bilateral, multilateral agreements, CBDC. We can talk about the private and public partnerships and many others. I think that the fundamental question here is, are these initiatives actually contributing and maybe complementing each other towards achieving the same goal, which is to make cross-border payments better? Or are they competing with each other or even overlapping with each other? So to help me answer this fundamental question, let's go through some other questions with the panelists here today. So let's get started with you, Kalyani. So many say that the non-traditional initiatives like digital coins, multilateral links, and some others could complement the traditional correspondent banking model, which has been dominant for quite some time. Do you agree with this view, or do you see a direct competition with incremental risks to be considered?
So are our assets going to complement Swift or compete with Swift?
It's a great question, and I do agree in the last year we have seen tremendous strides made by the industry to really stand up a regulated digital asset platform and make that available for traditional market participants. And if I think of the role of Swift, our main thing in life is to really connect additional participants, platforms across various markets to our global network. And so if I think of digital asset platforms, it's just another natural extension of something that we would normally do. So if I talk a little bit about what we've done in that space from a technical perspective, we've already proven out through a lot of experimentation that we can connect to just about whatever form of value and technologies that we're talking about, whether it's DLT or blockchain or CBDCs, et cetera, and really with the goal of demonstrating what our vision is on how we facilitate interoperability between digital and more traditional systems. And we're planning to now to take that out of the sandbox and do some additional pilots with the community and do some real life world cases with live transactions. So that's kind of the next thing that we're talking about to further refine and develop this model that we've been working on. And beyond the technical side, we're also updating our standards to include some of these digital asset pieces and really trying to mobilize the industry again to adopt common standards, just like ISO 222, to create this unified interoperable system. And ultimately, why? Why are we going through so much effort? And we really do believe our community members should reuse the infrastructure and the network that they already have, so that let me build it once, so that Trish, you don't have to build it, and Renata, you don't have to build it.
They are building it, guys. They are using these public blockchains to connect to. You heard it here. And yours should complement the Swift network. Nice. They see the benefit just like we do, and they know that times are changing. Yeah, it should complement it. Swift's in the game. We'll see, guys. We'll see what they use, which ones they use. There was a couple comments beneath it about them using Chainlink. The subjective view says Swift is working with a number of protocols. There's 3 phases to global interoperability: domestic, interregional, global head of payments, Swift community. breaks down these phases.
Kellyanne, SWIFT has played such an important role in helping cross-border organizations and banks interoperate smoothly. What does the next generation of SWIFT look like? And will you work together with other types of solutions that we heard, like with Citi and Ripple, to really tackle these issues?
So great question.
Citi and Ripple.
So first, let me describe the global response we're seeing on the interoperability topic, and it's really in 3 separate phases. So phase 1 was all about domestic schemes. So
all right, here we go. Global interoperability phases. Phase 1 is domestic schemes.
We've got, that was the first group that really said, all right, let's try and see how we can reduce friction, how can we get to interoperability, and that's where you have examples like FedNow. You have some great use cases in India with UPI and with PIX in Brazil. Then the next phase was really about countries coming together, so inter-regional, and really discussing how do we hook up our domestic schemes together in a cross-border aspect. And there you have things like Buna in the Middle East, and you've got BRICS. And then the third phase, which definitely is very much in its infancy, it's intra-regional. And this is about different regions coming together and talking about how do we connect up together to get to interoperability. And there you've got...
It's all about connecting. How are they going to connect? How are they going to settle? What are they going to use for settlement? Are they switching from messaging to settlement? Well, it's going to be involving banks. SWIFT is for banks. And what are banks going to do? They're going to tokenize. They're going to have their own chains. They're going to tokenize deposits. Why do you even need SWIFT with tokenized deposits? Right? Doesn't some of these chains just replace SWIFT? So if you ask me, all of this is about how they're trying to stay relevant, right? And use DLT to complement their services, which banks trust them. So we shall see. We shall see. SWIFT has been working on their own, but it is years behind Ripple. We'll see. They're trying to stay in the game. You can't blame them. Guys, I think I'm going to call it a day, go get some late lunch. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. What a hell of a time to be alive and be involved in this space, guys. Especially with everything that's going on in the world. And there's a lot of distractions going on. Is it a coincidence? Is it just a natural evolution? I don't know, guys, but we'll connect it together. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Mr. Conectr out. Peace, guys.